Today, I have one goal. I don't know, just elf. Absolutely all over the place. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another modern video. And I think you're gonna like this one, even if you are not a fan of modern, generally speaking. Because we are going to play some elves. By some, I mean every elf in my deck, hopefully. Here's the game plan. We would like to play a Paradox Engine. Whenever we cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents we control. And we are going to untap a Priest of Titania, which is newly modern legal, to add green for each elf on the battlefield. So our goal here is to have some sort of card engine in play, such as the One Ring, or maybe a Leaf-Crowned Visionary, and churn through our deck while playing increasing number of elves and gaining increasing amounts of mana with Priest of Titania. The ultimate goal is to play an Ezuri Renegade Leader and repeatedly activate its second ability, giving all elf creatures we control +3/+3 and trample until the end of turn. And for those of you who have like nostalgia for old like Glimpse of Nature combo elves from Legacy, this deck list is very much trying to replicate that feel, and we will see how successful it is at capturing that feel. We don't exactly have the same stuff within the modern card pool. We can still do some nonsense with Quirion Rangers and Wirewood Symbiotes and bouncing our stuff, and we still have Heritage Druid to make an ungodly amount of mana, and we'll just kind of see how strong this ends up being. This deck list comes to us from one of our Discord regulars, Avocado, who kind of said, this is the best that I think I can make it, and we'll see how good it ends up feeling. Modern currently is a bit broken. I am recording this on August 16th, so we are 10 days away from the banning, where presumably at least Nadu gets banned in Modern. We'll see how our little elf deck fares. Now, from my perspective, as someone who doesn't play a lot of Modern, I'm very worried about Wrath of the Skies. I think there's a decent amount of like Jeskai energy decks running around, and this is just an incredibly efficient answer that people are already going to be playing. So we might take some splash damage from that, but otherwise hopefully we kind of go wide of what our opponents are doing by just playing too many elves. Hopefully it works out well. It'll be fun either way. Folks, should you need some elves for your collection, please consider checking out my sponsor, TOA. That is TOAmagic.com. Tales of Adventure has treated me well. They treat their customers well. You always get free shipping on all online orders, and I know that I need some cards from them that I still haven't ordered because I don't have a Command Fest or anything coming up, but soon I need some pyroglyphs for reasons. They involve violence. Anyway, let's battle. So we're something on the order of a 20 land deck. So I have a 19 and 53 shot of hitting another land, but this kind of has 2 mana dorks already. I think I am okay with keeping this one, even though it's not perfect. Temple Garden. Are we not doing it over there? No, we are not doing it over there. There's going to be violence done. And it's going to happen to me. And it's going to be fast, and I'm not going to like it. But hopefully these end up going somewhere pretty cool. With another land drop, my next turn is pretty cool. My opponent's going to put some pants on Gladecover Scout pretty soon, and it's going to get ugly. Alright, whenever an aura enters, if you cast it, get another aura that costs less, different name. Oh, less than or equal. Ooh, got it. Sure. I don't think it is worth giving up my mana dork here. Okay. Well then. We're off to the races then. Do I know what I'm doing yet? No, absolutely not. But we're doing something. So 1, 2, 3 mana. How much mana is this? 4 mana? That should be pretty easy. Let's Summoner's Pact. Yeah. We'll untap a friend. I want like a Leaf-Crowned Visionary here, probably. So I'll play that. Drop Nettle Sentinel. Oh, fuck. Back that wrong. There we go. The two of these would be 8. I think I am okay with that. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3. Cast Summoner's Pact. I'm going to always yield to those. Get like a Priest of Titania. We'll cast. I will pay the extra. Oh, do I need to yield to you separately? Always yes. So that's in play. Now we get to Heritage Druid again. 3. Cast Ezuri. Not going to get a card draw off of this. Untap those. So I've got 3 more mana. I can regenerate my elves if something happens. We're going to pass the turn there. And it's not hard for us to pay for 2 packs. So that was cool. Sure. You have Vigilance. My opponent can probably get some sort of evasion here. Oh, or just big. Big is good. Yep. And then they get to do that again. Spirit Link. So that's Lifelink. Sure. That doesn't have evasion here, so I can just regenerate. I'll block with a Nettle Sentinel. Go 1, 2, 3. Regenerate an elf. And be good with that. My opponent still gets their life. Sure. And now hopefully next turn I just put a Paradox Engine into play and just win. Alright, so I need 8 mana. Oh, right, you fellows are not going to untap now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 9. 1. Oh, it's everybody. Sure. Aid. Raw. Forest. I guess I need one more thing to get going here. Like tap, tap, tap. That puts this into play. Sure. Tap. 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 4. 5. Paradox Engine. Pass turn. I have Regenerate for an Elvish Mystic block. And hopefully that just gets there. I don't know what sort of unblockable nonsense my opponent has. Flying? 22 flying in the air will do. Well, damn. Alright. Would we have drawn a creature? We would have drawn a Paradox Engine, so I would have just funneled a bunch of mana into a couple of Ezuri activations and probably not gotten through that lifelink. Fell a little short. You are not an elf. Your interaction. That's worth something. And this is also interaction. The Dismembers aren't going to kill creatures a decent portion of the time. I naturally drew my Ezuri. I don't know that that is going to be the norm here for the matchup. Like, do I beat my opponent if I remove 1 enchantment? Probably not. I think I'm just going to resubmit the game 1 deck, despite the fact that I do have answers to enchantments that I can board in. Having limited reps on this deck, it feels more important to just execute my own game plan and hope that it is good enough. Yeah, this probably works in some capacity. The One Ring is pretty good here. Logging on a critical turn that gives me another turn to advance my mana or combo off or whatever seems good. I play Elvish Mystic. You play something that also has 1 power and toughness. Where is my Dismember? So, in theory, I want to tap this next turn and do some One Ring nonsense. I think that means I am going 1, 2, playing this, and getting my tapped land out of the way. I don't think I need to try to push 1 damage through a Dryad Arbor. Like, I don't want to lose my creature, even if it costs my opponent a land. Path is good. My screen's blacked out, oddly. Okay, cool. So, play Leaf Crowned Visionary. I think I will just play a land here. Cast Elf, A1, draw card. Ooh! Ooh! I've got 3 mana here. I've already played this. I'm not interested in removing those. I'm just going to pass the turn and then pop off really hard with the One Ring next turn, hopefully. That's fine on this board, actually. Yes. Get Forest. Now, my turn won't be as good, but hopefully it's good enough. Opponent's at 15. There's Light Paws. You have a Boseiju for an enchantment. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here's the One Ring. Get that protection. Draw a card. It's a Cavern of Souls. I mean, I'll play it. Goes on Elf. I will Quarian Ranger and pass the turn. Canopy cover. Can't be blocked except for creatures with flying or reach. And get Shroud. Understood. Then we'll see what my opponent comes up with. They're not actually going to be attacking me this turn because of the One Ring. Feather of Flight. Sure. Ethereal Armor. Pretty good. Light Paws doing some work here. My opponent has two different things effectively making its critters unblockable. Trample's cool. I'm probably just going to Boseiju that Ethereal Armor. That's the oomph here. Now, let's do this. Yeah. Boseiju. Ethereal Armor. Cool. I'll lose one from the One Ring. Okay, what do you do again? You can cast creature spells from the top of the library. Tap 2 creatures, reveal card from your hand to the top part of your library. If it's a creature, put it on the battlefield. Got it. I think I am just going to draw with the One Ring first. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3. Do this. There's a Heritage Druid. I'll do that off the top. Now we've got Forest. Now we've got Elvish Mystic. I have a bunch of mana and not quite something to do with it. Hopefully an Ancestral off the One Ring next turn is good enough. I was trying to wait to play this to see if I could get a little bit more value. Or, sorry, to see if I would draw other things that would be more value than just casting this immediately, because it eats up a lot of mana. That ended up not being my bottleneck. Am I gonna die? Audacity, that's +2. Yep. This is 16. Not dead yet. Sure. Not lifelink. I'll eat that. I'm at 2. Fuck. There's a problem. Draw? Hold on. So, yes. I can live. It's just not pretty. So, do this. Tap 1. Wait, how many? Oh. Tap 3 untapped elves. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control. Cancel. Do this again. So, pay green. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control. I'd like to tap this and this. Okay. So, there's Disciple of Fraelis. I need to gain 2 life to stay alive, which means sacrificing this. I could try to untap it first. I think I am not going to do that. So let's gain 3. Lose 3. There's a Leaf Crowned Visionary. Can we make this work? Feels like no. But we are gonna try. So I will pay 1. Draw a card. Can't give that haste. Now we will Heritage Druid, go 1, 2, and 3. Make 3 mana. Play a Quarian Ranger. Untap Nettle Sentinel. A to draw a card. There's a Wirewood Symbiote. Cool. Make a land drop. Where's Heritage Druid? Go 1, 2, and 3. Play a Ranger. Same song and dance. Let's always yield to this. Yes. Okay. So Heritage Druid, 1, 2, 3. Leaf Crowned Visionary. Untap. A. Yes. Okay. That gives me another turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got at least 2 mana that I can work with now. I'm not trying to kill this turn anymore. So now Heritage Druid, 1, 2, 3. Cast Priest. Untap Nettle Sentinel. A 1. Yes. I have Quarian Ranger to return some forests to untap some stuff. Oh, there's this fucking One Ring still. Oh no, I'm gonna play a new One Ring, so it's fine. Yes. So 1, 2, 3. Cast new Nettle Sentinel. Triggers a once for sure. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fine. Yes, Paradox Engine. So now, given that, let's just untap some creature, bouncing a forest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paradox Engine. Now I can just kill this turn. So, Elvish Mystic. Triggers. Yeah. Always yes. Now we Paradox Engine. Yes. Yes. We're gonna make a bunch of mana and just kill through an Ezuri. At this point, this isn't like the most interesting anymore. So I'm gonna give you no, I'll let it play out for a second. So draw a bunch of cards. There's a Disciple of Freyalise, which is cool. Now I'm gonna give you an update when I draw the Ezuri. Okay, so at this point, I have cast an Ezuri. I have activated its abilities a bunch of times. I'm going to just do something as a little safety net here, and then I will go ahead and swing out and call it a turn. Actually, I guess I don't need to do the whole Disciple of Freyalise thing. Never mind. It's just not good. All right. That seems good enough. Send them. I have a turn of protection. All my stuff has a billion D power, and we do put a win on the board. Now, if I have to do that again, I might just time out. The problem with boarding in something like Dismember is that if my opponent just plays a creature turn 1 and starts throwing enchantments on it, the Dismember doesn't actually do anything. Like, it's very good at helping to stop a light pause, but don't know if it's actually good, especially since I am likely to tap out a decent portion of the time. I think we are trying to race. This has 2 lands, technically. So, Deuter into Deuter into Deuters? Sure. It does more self-damage than I would like, but hopefully it's fine. Sure. Cool. We avoid a little bit of the self-damage here. And we've got Rancor. And presumably some other enchantment. Yeah, and so the Dismembers that would stop Light Pause would just not be stopping this. Sure. The Trample is gonna be rough, I'm not gonna lie to you. We will go 2 mana for the Priest, play a tapped land here, and we can work towards some One Ring fog nonsense in the not too distant future, assuming I make it to the next turn. Some like maximum ethereal armor nonsense could absolutely disrupt me. Take 9. So 1, 2, play Priest of Titania, 3 and 4. Can I get Paradox Engine going in any capacity? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Summoner's Pact? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Paradox Engine. Cast Summoner's Pact. Yes. Untap these. I have an Ezuri, so we just probably want something like a Heritage Druid here. So, yeah. And yeah. Cast Priest. Can always yield to this. Yeah. One Ring. Oh, I missed a mana there. Sure. Okay, and my opponent is not going to sit here for 5 minutes while I click through that. I've got the Ezuri in hand. It's very hard for me to lose the game from that position. So, our scrappy little elf deck puts up a win. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and I could say all sorts of great things about them, but I'm just going to point to this number. I have 488 deck lists stored on this site. That should give you a feel for how I feel about this website. And if you were to go to my profile, you could see all the deck lists that I'm messing around with, including my EDH decks, and you can even see some of the deck lists I record with before they hit the channel. Ooh. Okay, I am keeping this one in the hopes that it goes somewhere. We've got mana. I don't have much to do with that mana unless we start getting invested in this Summoner's Pact. Well, I like that. We're going to send in for 1 with our Heritage Druid. Put our opponent to 19. And then drop a Priest. And the next turn is hopefully good. You know, a Lightning Bolt on the Priest of Titania does really slow me down here, if that's what we're looking at. Is a Surveil land. Not one that you see in Legacy, really. We've got a basic. Ooh, I assume this is combo nonsense then. Like a Ruby Storm sort of thing, and this is for some sideboard cards. So I think we're going to go 2, 3, and 4, play the One Ring, draw my card, and then consider using the Summoner's Pact. It'll cost me 4 next turn, which is Priest plus 1 land, assuming I get an Elf. That's hopefully fine. I have 2 mana right now. I have 1 mana right now. Get Aquarian Ranger. That probably allows me to pop off the hardest next turn, because I will be able to untap the Priest. Now, will we just die to an opposing combo turn here? That is a real question. I'm just going to F6. If they got it, they got it. Here we go. The Ral Monsoon Mage is sort of a unique card in that it initially makes your rituals better. So it's like an accelerant, and then later on it just turns into your win condition. Let's make these bigger. Exile top 3, you can play them, beginning of the next end step, put them into your graveyard, make Eldrazi's. Got it. Alright, so Ral has transformed. There's a Grape Shot showing. Oh fuck. I'm just dead to Grape Shot, right? My opponent just junks my board, and then I die to the One Ring trigger. That sucks. Well, my opponent does need to see the line. But I imagine the remainder of this turn is not particularly interesting. My opponent is going to churn through a large number of spells, Grape Shot my board, and that's just that. Like, I already don't beat it. Oh, and there's a Past in Flames. Yeah. Let's fast forward. Okay, so here is our Grape Shot. Oh, my opponent's casting more spells. I am unsure why. I am deterministically dead. I don't play this format, so I don't know if they can actually kill me, so I guess let's fast forward again. Okay, so my opponent has now cast and empty the warrens. I'm going to concede to that so that I don't die to my own trigger. But I'm not sure if my opponent is aware of my Pact of Negation. I have conceded. Concede game. It won't let me leave. We're stuck here, folks. Rest of the video is Goblin tokens. That was so weird. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, not much. We are not going to be faster than this deck. So, what are we doing? Are we going to try to dismember a Ral? Guess we can Haywire Might as a way to get rid of Ruby Medallions. Could Disruptor Flute. I hate trying to interact. Taking out pieces of my engine is not great here. Is this thing necessary? There's one of it. I'm going to assume that it's not necessary. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the Summoner's Packs. Like, have these for Ral, have these for Medallions. I don't think I'm going to mess around with the Disruptor Flute. Trim one Quirion or something to just round out the deck list. Do I need to mold the Disruption? And might kill on, like, turn 4? That doesn't seem fast enough. This is a much better hand. I'll keep this. I think I pitch one Elvish Mystic and keep the Heritage Druid, and then both of these. And we'll drop Elvish Mystic and pass. Alright, that's all opponents got. I'm thinking about whether or not this is costing me life. I think I'm going to push the 1 damage while holding up Dismember and playing Heritage Druid. Drop the opponent to 19. Play Druid and pass. Now, sometimes my opponent just plays, you know, a Ruby Medallion instead. And things get a little dicey. Double Mountain? Ooh, we're going now. That's not great. Sure. This is probably not deterministic. Oh, god damn it. It's Grape Shot. That's so good. Yeah. Alright. There goes my setup turns. And now I can't just play the One Ring to fog and get myself another turn. Oh? Oh, okay. No, bottom copy. Sure. Nettle Sentinel, not great. We'll do that. Do Nettle Sentinel and pass. And I imagine that I am in very, very bad shape now. Like, not only do I need to weather every individual turn here, I also need another land for the One Ring. So my opponent's going to churn through this stuff, hopefully not find more mana. Then hopefully I get another turn. Alright, so they get a couple spawns. Yeah, no, that's no agency for me here. I'll attack with the Nettle Sentinel. I don't think I'm going to dismember an Eldrazi spawn here. If we do anything, it's because my opponent's deck absolutely craps itself, not because my deck did anything good. Yeah, sure. These 2-mana spells are probably just going to churn into each other for a little while. Oh, sure. We've got some energy production. Oh, this is just a win condition then, huh? So my opponent will, like, cast these things from exile, and then it starts pinging me. Yeah, no, that's awful. That wish is 1 mana. Ritual is gonna happen. Then the wish is gonna happen. I don't know what the wish gets exactly, but it can't be good for me. Fast in Flames. Where's your red mana? This is not a Lotus Petal format, so where is this initial red mana coming from? Nowhere. Nowhere is the answer. I'm going to die to it next turn. Am I just dismembering this for 1 starting mana? Sure. I think I'm just going to take that out, hope I draw a land for the 1 ring, and go from there. Okay. There's the 1 ring. I get protection, draw a card. And hopefully we can pop off next turn. I think it would be quite difficult. Not impossible, but quite difficult. We have some lower power cards in the deck list. But my opponent will probably end this turn with a bunch of goblins in play. I'm not going to narrate this. Okay, my opponent has passed the turn with 18 goblins in play. And I have no friends. I can play another 1 ring to fog for a turn cycle. Opponent's got some stuff hanging out in exile. Let's try to refuel a bit. So, I need to just play another 1 ring and pass, unfortunately. Got it. I guess I could hit a land drop here. That would be nice. That would let me at least put a Heritage Druid into play. Keep this one. Draw. Hey. There we go. We live to see another day. Oh, opponent's playing some stuff. Okay, yeah, sure. No, do your thing. I imagine my opponent will just, like, do something until they kill my Heritage Druid and then pass the turn. Let's fast forward to that. Okay, my opponent passed the turn. They've got some critters. There's a fiery cannonade here, which is annoying. That's an instant. But it would kill all my opponent's goblins. So, let's see what we can do, huh? Start here. I'd like to draw a 1 mana thingy. That's a 1 mana thingy. So, land drop. Paradox Engine. Wish is a sorcery. Wish is a sorcery. Play a Quirion Ranger. Untap all these permanents. Oh fuck, I think I messed up. I don't know, if I try to set up a mana positive situation with Heritage Druid, my opponent just fiery cannonades and disrupts it. And return a forest, untap target creature. I think I'm just dead. So instead of doing this, I go like, yeah, make mana, then do this, then this. Yeah, I don't think I'm beating that fiery cannonade, but I could have played better to have a chance to do so. All right, not any starting mana sources here. This is probably fine without thinking about it too much. I'll probably keep this one, get rid of the Summoner's Pact, just keep my highest density of elves here. So yeah, and yeah. See what our opponent's doing. Sure. Yeah. I'm playing poorly. Just a priest there. I had it in my mind that I was going to have 3 creatures to then play priest out afterwards. Sure. Galvanic Discharge. That's fine. I guess I'm happy that that doesn't kill my priest, because now I get to grind some value. Draw a card. I'll just attack for 1 here, and hopefully pop off next turn. The priest is worth a lot of mana. I can also Summoner's Pact for a Heritage Druid or a Quirion Ranger to untap this, depending on where we're going. Don't know exactly what we are playing against here. I'll assume that this is some sort of combo deck list if this is a portion of it. Malevolent Rumble. Primal Prayers. Get 2 energy. You may cast creature spells with mana value 3 or less by paying energy. If you do that, they have flash. Okay, got it. And there's more. Rampager, 2 energy. Sure. So I could maximize mana or I can maximize card draw. I think I'm maximizing card draw initially. Yeah. There's a land drop. Name elf. So yeah. Pay with Llanowar elves here. Yes. There's a heritage druid. So there's 5 mana. Cast heritage druid. Pay. Draw a card. Now we're going to start doing heritage druid nonsense. So 1, 2, 3. Do these. Elvish mystic. Pay the 1. Draw the card. Untap this. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. Cast Summoner's Pact. That untaps this buddy. I could go for the Ezuri. That's not doing me a lot of good right now. Let's just keep going. So we'll Leaf Crowned Visionary. Draw a card. We're just looking for any hit here, which we get. Then I will play a Priest. I'm fine paying for both of the card draws. There's Ezuri. Cool. Now, Heritage Druid gives us 3 mana, which is just putting this Ezuri into play. Unfortunately, this is where I stop for the turn. Oh, fuck, I meant to untap that. Oh well. There's probably lines to play that a little differently, where I do like Aquarian Ranger line to be able to bounce stuff. This feels pretty good. Alright, there's that Primal Prayers thing. So we'll see if my opponent just ends up going infinite and kills me. Whenever one or more creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying, draw a card. Shrieking Drake. Did not get to read what that did. Okay, sure. So my opponent is just going to repeatedly bounce that. So they have 2 energy. Oh, this is just drawing my opponent their deck. I see. Okay, well, let's figure out how this kills me. So my opponent is down to 2 cards in deck. Are we just going to get oracled? Okay, we are going to get oracled. Sure. All right. So we can attempt to interact with this combo, or we can just attempt to race. Feels like mine's probably clunkier. Board this thing out. I think I want the various dismembers. We can trim a couple creatures around the edges here, maybe. Maybe trim a Summoner's Pact or something. Sorry. Alright, I would say that my hand is kind of mediocre. I don't really think it's worth mulliganing. Priest of Titania is very powerful. Leaf Crown Visionary is one of the things that I want to kind of do my thing. Wirewood Symbiote is presumably going to just eat a Lightning Bolt or something here. We will attempt to throw down a Priest and pass the turn. Wirewood has to be... Oh, sure. Wirewood has to be the first thing removed if my opponent can remove creatures. Otherwise, I will just bounce the creature in question. Oh, cool. I will untap this creature. Bouncing this elf will save our creature. My opponent does not get their energy because it has no legal targets, so hopefully that matters. Land drop. Let's throw out a priest. Let's throw out an elf. Attack for 1. And hopefully I start doing some powerful stuff next turn. There's a shock. I'm not actually going to need to do that much damage to my opponent to kill them from the look of things here. It is a raptor. Sure. Opponent hits Imperial Recruiter. I don't know if I've ever seen in play in Modern. Is that the blue guy? That's the blue guy. Sure. So, yeah. Elf. Not you. Not you. Actually, I guess we can do you. Or no. I want the bonus energy. Not energy. Mana. So we do you. Then this is 3 and 4. Playing the 1 ring. There, it gives me my protection. I draw my card. That's not what I am looking for, unfortunately. So I guess 1, untap target creature, return this elf. So yeah, pay 1, draw a card. Then this is 3 mana. Yeah, pay, draw the card. Now I've activated you. I've got nothing else here. I'll pass the turn, but we fogged with the 1 ring. And then hopefully next turn, I guess I should not be F6 here. And then hopefully next turn, I just string a bunch of card draws and mana together into something that results in a win. This is turn 4. I guess my opponent could play that thingy, that enchantment that lets them play their stuff for free and kill me. Here's the fetch. Oh, it's just a Surveil. That probably bodes well for me. The Shifting Woodland. Sure. Okay, there's that thing. Opponent chose this. Okay, got it. Let's see what we can do. A Dismember. Don't mind that. So, let's start drawing some cards. I can resolve these one at a time here. I'm okay to draw another card with this. Ah, it's really good. Let's cast a Heritage Druid here. I'm okay drawing with this one. Now I have to start thinking. With a Heritage Druid about to come down, I think it's okay to just draw another card here. Ezuri. Cool. So 1, 2, 3. Let's draw some cards. I guess ultimately we'd like to draw the Paradox Engine. Yes. So let's go land drop, return an elf I control to untap Priest of Titania. And then assuming this Paradox Engine resolves, I am just going to win. Okay, cool. Let's fast forward. Okay, my opponent made me play it out. We eventually just got Ezuri into play and made large enough creatures that my opponent finally conceded. We have 35 mana floating, so we did the thing. We were probably dead on the next turn, but I also had played an extra the 1 ring, so we had that safety net. Waxamit. This Priest of Titania is a worse Llanowar elf as of right now. I don't think I get to keep this one. This hand is unexciting. I don't know that it goes back, but it's unexciting. We are going to keep the elves and hope that this hand gets better over the next turn cycle or two. It doesn't take a lot for it to kind of go wild, but I am going to need at least 1 good draw, maybe 2. We're probably fighting against turn 4 or so as like the goldfish time, where I either need to win or play a 1 ring or something. We'll see how my opponent's deck functions. They're not showing red mana yet. Summoner's Pact is interesting. Do I want to play that? Summoner's Pact for Heritage Druid. Heritage Druid, Nettle Sentinel. 3 mana. Quarian Ranger. Untap. Bounce another creature. Put Ezuri into play. Have 1 land in play. Use my elves to pay for next turn. That's okay. Let's do it. Heritage Druid. Nettle Sentinel. Heritage Druid. 1, 2, 3. Play Quarian Ranger. Untap this. Return a forest to untap target creature. 1, 2, 3. Play Ezuri. Untap that creature. And pass. Opponent can have some energy. And we'll see what they can do here. Like, I could get disrupted. My Heritage Druid could die, and then I'm dead, right? 1, 2 mana. This is the only other thing that makes mana. I guess 3 with Quarian Ranger. I don't have 1 available to help out. But I am just trying to kill my opponent because they can turn 4 goldfish me. That's fine. Okay, so the Shrieking Drake from earlier just bounces a creature. Sure. Am I dead? No, because my opponent made a critical error. So if my opponent kills Heritage Druid, I do not have the ability to pay for this pact. We take those. So Heritage Druid. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's a 1 ring. I can go 1, 2, bounce a forest, untap a creature for 3. Can't get this thing into play. I guess I want to leave Boseiju up rather than attack. There's the land drop. Am I dying? Ooh. 4 mana. There's the Primal Prayers. So when do I Boseiju? I guess before the energy? Or do I do it with stuff on the stack? I guess with stuff on the stack makes more sense. My opponent only has 3 cards. Let's try now. Like, if my opponent's remaining 2 cards are just the perfects, I accept a 6. Sure. My opponent can't do... Can they do retrace at the same time as this? No. That's multiple alternative casting costs. Alright, there's Boseiju. Amped Raptor finds Galvanic Discharge, which is very good for my opponent. Yep. Now my opponent can just retrace this thingy back, which is not great for me. I probably end up losing to that. Summoner's Pact. I don't think we're using that immediately. So here's 3. Untap target creature. Return a forest. There's 4. There's the 1 ring. Get the protection. Do this. Forest. How is Heritage Druid now if I Summoner's Pact? It's gonna be the same sort of situation as before where I just like die if my opponent points a trigger at the right card. I think I'll hold that for a turn. Let's just play this. Call it a turn. Harder for me to win without that Ezuri, though. I don't have an endurance to loop my deck. It feels like I should be dying. Opponent gets the mage. Sure. There's the mage. Okay. That's cool. Let's see what we can do here. There's a Heritage Druid. That's nice. Okay, what am I doing with Summoner's Pact? I want a source of card advantage, which means getting a Lord, but I don't have the extra thing to play afterwards. I don't think I get to cast Disciple of Fraelis. So we go 1, 2, and 3. Cast Summoner's Pact, which untaps this stuff. I get my source of card advantage, which is a Leaf Crown Visionary. I activate this again, go 1, 2, 3. Play Leaf Crown Visionary. That untaps these. I go 1, 2, 3. That is 7 mana. So, cast Disciple of Fraelis. Untapping my Nettle Sentinels. I think I'll pay the 1. Yes. Okay. So that trigger on the stack. Heritage Druid. 1, 2, and 3. What am I sacrificing? The Quirion Ranger? I want to use its ability. I'm not sure that it matters. Maybe it does. We'll untap some creature. Bounce a forest. Sack the Quirion Ranger. Draw some cards. Make a land drop. 2 mana for a Lord. Untap Nettle Sentinels. 3 mana. Total of 4 mana. Draw my card. A new Summoner's Pact. Cool. I'm casting it. Yes. Untap those friends. Get a 3rd one. Yeah. Get a 3rd one. So 1, 2, and 3. Cast Nettle Sentinel. Untap my Nettle Sentinels. Draw some cards. So I'm not entirely sure how we win without the Ezuri. We'll figure that out. But it probably happens. Or a timeout. That's somewhat likely. Always yes. Draw some cards. This hits play. So 1, 2, 3. Let's start taking out some opposing forces here. So pay 1 and some life. Do that. Heritage Druid. Untap my friends. Have my friends make mana. Have my other friends draw cards. Elvish Mystic. I might just be doing fair combat damage here. So 1, 2, 3. Yes. 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 That's kind of nutty. So Heritage Druid. 1, 2, 3. New Leaf Crowned Visionary. Yes. Yes. Say no to one of these to just kind of reevaluate my board. So these dismembers are quite nice. Let's start killing creatures. Yeah. And I might just be turning creatures sideways over the course of 2 turns to finish off my opponent here. Let's net some mana. Make mana. 1, 2, 3. There's a 1 ring. That's nice. I'm just going to say no to the rest of these. New Nettle Sentinel. Oh, the Moto lag is getting real. They note all this. So there's some mana. Play more friends. Always yes to that. Yeah, more dismembers are good. Say no to these other ones. I have tighter lines here, and I just don't have the time to think through them. I have one more dismember that I, in theory, would like to find. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Dismember that guy. Yeah. I only have 3 creatures that can attack, believe it or not. Elvish Mystic. I've just got lethal once I find the last dismember. Got enough mana that I can just do these. Haven't found it yet. And keep going for a little while longer. Elf. Yes. 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 Negative. 1, 2, 3. Quarian Ranger. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, now I'm past the point where I can't. Okay, there's the last dismember. So no. And no. So there's that final dismember. So yeah. Yeah. And yeah. And this is lethal. Send them. All right. We got there. This deck takes a lot of clicks, though. All right, how am I supposed to evaluate this hand? I have the start of something good. Is this actually keepable? Feels like it's borderline. I will need some source of card advantage. Oh, that's annoying. That means I don't have free attacks with this anymore. Well, there's my mana. So that's the good news. I'm not going to attack and give my opponent the chance to increase the number of cards in their graveyard. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing yet, but they are certainly up to no good. And I do not want to help enable them before I am just killing them. Yeah. Thanks, I hate it. Unsure how aggressive to just get with Summoner's Pact here. I just die to a removal spell, or like another Bowmaster's if I do, well, not Bowmaster specifically. I die to another removal spell if I go like Summoner's Pact for Lord, play Heritage Druid and Lord. That gets that stuff into play. That doesn't get me Paradox Engine immediately. I think I'm going to do it anyway. It protects my Heritage Druid from a Bowmaster. I imagine this is yet another combo deck list of some kind. We get Leaf Crown Visionary, play it, always yes, always yield. And now we don't have the mana to do anything cool and extra. Flare of Malice. So I lose this, and I'm going to just die to my Summoner's Pact trigger. So that's some shit that I'm going to have to get used to. I am also going to have to deal with Bowmasters, as I am drawing cards with the One Ring or Leaf Crown Visionary. That seems awful. Veil of Summer is, I guess, a thing. Dismember is a thing. Probably needs some number of both of those. Get rid of that duder. Summoner's Pact feels horrifying to me right now. Like, my opponent has free removal spells that can mess up my Summoner's Pact math. And probably more generally, a bunch of removal. This is 62. I could do some stuff trimming around the edges, like trim Aquarian. If I don't have the ability to tutor for the Wirewood, that's maybe expendable as well, since it is not an elf. It feels like this match is going to go fast, and not in a way that is favorable for me. But my opponent's mulliganing to 5, so we got that going for us. Alright. Play Duder, pass. I might end up playing a Leaf Crowned Visionary early on to protect Priest of Titania from Bowmasters, but doing so really slows down my Goldfish speed, and I don't have a third land drop to like draw a card off the Priest by waiting. I guess this just gets Bowmastered too. Alright. Yep. No early beats here either. This deck seems uniquely positioned to make me suffer. Some of the other decks that we're playing against are just faster than what we're doing, but like between Bowmasters, denying basic combat steps, free instant speed removal, it is no bueno. Yeah, rough. There's third land drop. Now that I have that extra land drop, I think I play this one out. This deck just gonna go like infinite with the energy thingy. Chthonian Nightmare, I think it's called. Or maybe Chthonic Nightmare. Third land drop. What? Oh, okay. So pay a life, sack a creature, make a treasure. So my opponent can sack this, make a treasure. I imagine that that thing needs to die. I also imagine that that thing needs to die immediately. Let's dismember that, and we'll see what my opponent does. I imagine at least the Stitcher's Supplier is going. Yeah. There's a Gravecrawler. Okay. So this is going to be Gravecrawler plus this, plus a Blood Artist effect. That makes sense to me. I would like this dead. I'm going to offer a trade of my Leaf Crown Visionary for the Bowmasters and see how my opponent feels about it. Ooh, super happy with that. So combat damage happens. I do this. And hopefully I can do some fair beatdown stuff coupled with some One Ring card draw. Yeah. Blood Artist effect. Makes sense. Unearth. Sure. That's a zombie, so my opponent can play Gravecrawler. So now my opponent can pay 1 life to drain me. And then the treasure tokens. Ooh. Sure. I'm currently at the higher life total. But it's creature or artifact for the Marionette Apprentice. And so it's 2 life per cycle here. That is not a favorable ratio for me. So a handful of clicks later, it ends with me being dead. GG's. Alright, final round here. Let's see how this plays out. I've got an okay hand. I've got 2 lands. I have Heritage Druid plus Nettle Sentinel. I have Priest of Titania as standalone mana, and I have my theoretical win condition in hand already. Please don't be another combo deck, though. Give me some variety. Unsure what that means. So, turn 1 Nettle Sentinel, turn 2 Quirion Ranger into Heritage Druid, 3 mana, immediate Priest of Titania. Cool. Yep. And do a sneaky attack for 2 in there too. So are we going to be like an Urza Saga mid-rangey deck? Hey, it's an Urza Saga. Grinding Station. This tends to not be a card you put into a fair deck, is all I'm saying. So I don't know what nonsense is happening, but it is probably not going to be good for me. Love tap 4/2. Opponent's at 15. Quirion Ranger. Untap my friend. Uncounterable Heritage Druid. And now we make mana. So there's 3. Play Priest. Untap. There's 1. Now we can get 3 mana again. Play Ezuri. That untaps Nettle Sentinel. And I'll pass the turn. I can do some trickery to regenerate an elf other than Ezuri if I need to. Just have lethal next turn. 3, 4, 5. Activate this. It's plus 9 damage. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Not quite. Oh no, I just return a forest to untap a creature. Twice. Land drop. And the fetch. That's 5 damage to my Ezuri. This is regenerate another target elf, unfortunately. So Ezuri is dead. I can make 3 mana. I can't make 5 mana. Okay. Yeah. The effectively singleton win condition deck has some flaws. How do I want to do this turn? Playing the land drop's fine. Like, do I just want to attack with a bunch of stuff here? I don't know what I am playing against. I don't know to what extent I need to try to win immediately versus can I just attack over 2 turns? Let's try to attack over 2 turns. I'll just send those in. Opponent goes to 9. Tap that for 5. Here's the 6th mana. Cast this. I think I want multiple card draws, so I think I am sacking a Nettle Sentinel here. I think the Nettle Sentinel is not important to my mana output, considering that I have multiple Quarian Rangers here. So cast this. Untap target creature. Bounce Forest. There's 6 mana. Priest paying 1. We'd love to just draw another elf and keep the chain going. That's unfortunately a Cavern of Souls. I could get more mana. More mana is not doing me any good. I'll just pass the turn. We're swinging for lethal next turn. Let's see if I die. Floating mana. Mox Amber. My opponent is just sacking that to mill 3 to untap this. Underworld Breach. Sure. So now my opponent is going to what? Play Mox Amber, trigger Grinding Station, do this, be able to repeatedly play Mox Amber, to mill themselves out, and I imagine that they will find a way to win the game along the way there. Okay, so once Emery gets in play, this starts netting mana. This has not been a very good Modern League, in my opinion, because I am trying to do something unfair that just wins the game without any interaction from my opponents, and most of my opponents have just done the same thing. It kind of feels like in this Nadu world, people aren't trying to interact, they are just trying to do their own combo thing as quickly as possible and win faster than other people. That does not necessarily seem like the healthiest sign. That is not a good sign of format health if everyone is just trying to go turbo as quickly as possible, ignoring things that your opponent can do. This has been a league where I have just kind of literally walked away from the computer while my opponent was comboing off. And the same could be true of my opponents. Like, there were definitely times where I was down into like single digit minutes worth of time. So with that being said, I'm going to fast forward this to when my opponent finds some way to kill me. Alright, my opponent has milled their entire library, and we do see a Thassa's Oracle, resulting in my death. So, the things that interact are so slow and are not elves, but I probably need at least some degree of interaction here. I can actually probably become heavily interactive and just kill my opponent with fair creature stuff. Like, get rid of this, get rid of these, and intend on just beating my opponent to death. Sometimes. That's probably fine. But we'll do the Graveyard Hate. We'll do these. We'll do this for sure. And then, like, the Disruptor Flutes are a thing that are relevant. They're probably relevant enough to be in the deck here. Do I just, like, shy away from literally going infinite by dropping the number of Paradox Engines that I'm playing? That seems okay. I could get rid of more and, like, play a Dismember or something. A couple Dismembers for Emery's. I don't super hate it. I don't super love it either. Playing a Singleton Rex Sage while boarding out the Summoners packs feels a little weird. Firewood Rex Sage is a thing. I think I'm going to value answering Emery a little more highly than that. This just gives me the ability to make mana, play elves, bash with elves, draw cards with elves. This seems fine to me. I have mana and things to do with mana. I'll just lead on an Elvish Mystic. That's perfectly fine. That's also fine. Sure. Not sure if that's ever a spell. I don't think I need to turbo out Soul Guide Lantern here. But I'm also not really sure that I need to... Like, I'm going to miss 1 point of damage at some point this game, tapping for mana in all likelihood. I think I'm just going to put this into play now and potentially live the dream of popping off a little harder with the One Ring in the future. I have no idea what sort of removal options my opponent is going to have. Sure. That stops my chip points of damage that I'm going to get in, and means my turn probably starts like this. think I am just doing this for colorless and leaving true green. Well, this is an exile. Do I want to do this differently? No. I think I'm going to trade these still. I'll get my protection from everything. I'll attempt to draw my card. My opponent might just crack and junk this in response. I can try to play like a game of chicken with this fetch land and try to draw a card on my opponent's turn. In the times where my opponent doesn't bite on it. That is not my preference though. So playing the game in this capacity means that I now get to start attacking again, and this card, which is my protection versus my opponent's combo, doesn't leave play. Which I'm not 100% sure is the right way to play that, but it's how I am playing it given my limited format knowledge. You may cantrip, follow up land drop, and presumably more plays. Sure. Quarian Ranger. So I have a decent amount of mana. I think we're just turning little cards sideways here. I can try to get cute with some Disciple of Freyalise stuff. I think we are just turning dudes sideways. The only question is, like, do I hold the Disciple of Freyalise in case I need to draw exactly one card? All this can manage right now. I'm going to say yes. Sometimes something as small as an Emry just locks down the board. My Quarian Ranger doesn't get to bounce anything as of right now. I don't control actual forests. Cool. That's tough. I am now going to die a slow death to Tamiyo or the Planeswalker side of it. I think I am okay tapping out here. I think we can just be good with that. GG's. So how do we feel about this one at the end of the league? I would say medium. I think the deck does a thing. It does a thing that is relatively powerful. And in that capacity, it is a successful deck list. Is this as powerful or consistent as some of the other combo decks that we were seeing on the other side of the table? I think the answer to that is a resounding no. It feels like this deck is powerful for what it is and what it is trying to be, but it does not feel like this is a tier 1 contender. Some issues with it are that Summoner's Pact lines are incredibly risky if they do not result in a deterministic win that turn. We saw just regular old removal spells resulting in losses. This is a deck that kind of has a singleton win condition. Like, you can just win by beating your opponents to death with a large number of elves that you have grown with lords. That is a thing that works. It is incredibly slow, incredibly click intensive. I don't love that. This card did do some things throughout the course of the league. I think I'd rather just this be a second Ezuri. Wirewood Symbiote is an okay card that isn't an elf, which is sometimes relevant for things like Heritage Druid. Orcish Bowmasters existing in the format makes this style of glimpse of nature elves still just a little rough, and the fact that the One Ring also walks into that same stuff is not the best. When this deck starts popping off, it is cool. It certainly does the thing. My lines could have been tighter. If I sat there and goldfished this for an hour before I recorded, the league would have been better, unquestionably, but I don't really have the time to do that. And I think it is more genuine to record as I learn a deck than to goldfish for a long time and go like, okay, here is how this deck is played. That's not what we're really trying to do on the channel. Like, the act of playing something and learning while you are doing it is incredibly valuable, and I want to keep doing that. Sideboard felt fine, but there's an asterisk there because when you start chipping away at pieces of your combo engine to bring in interaction, your goldfish speed slows down, you have lower elf density, and all that stuff. So, shaky thumbs up. This deck is cool. It does a thing. I don't know that this is powerful enough to be competitive in Modern, even after something like a Nadu ban. It felt like I was working pretty hard throughout this league in comparison to some of my opponents. With that being said, folks, I hope you have a wonderful day. Should you need some cards, consider checking out my sponsor, TOAMagic.com, and using promo code ThrabenU to save a bit on your order. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. See ya.